Welcome to Unwritten Histories, the podcast where we dig into the strange, forgotten, and unsettling chapters of America's past. Stories that didn't quite make textbooks and mysteries that still haunt the margins of history. I'm Rebecca, and today we're unraveling the oldest, creepiest cold case in U.S. history, the disappearance of the lost colony of Roanoke. Picture this. Over 100 English settlers, men, women, and children, vanish without a trace off a small island from the coast of North Carolina. No graves, no bodies, no signs of violence, and just one eerie word carved into a post: Croatoan. The year's 1590, and England's first attempt at building a permanent colony in the New World has just disappeared. Were they attacked? Did they starve? Or did they join a local tribe? Or were they part of something much stranger? For centuries, historians, treasure hunters, and conspiracy theorists alike have chased this mystery, each one more convinced they found the truth, or just buried it deeper. Today we're going to walk through the most compelling theories, from the plausible to the totally out there. So buckle up, because this one isn't just a missing person case, it's a ghost story written into the foundation of America. Let's get into it. So here's the quick backstory of this whole incident. It was in, 1587, just around then. About 115 English settlers, who were all men, women, and children, by the way, they established this colony over in Roanoke Island, and it was sponsored by this guy named Sir Walter Raleigh, and it was supposed to be the first permanent English settlement in the New World, because up to then, guess we didn't have any. But when the governor, John White, sails back to England for supplies, the trip took 3 years thanks to the war that was going on with Spain. Of course, something had to interfere. When he returned in 1590, the colony was gone. It was empty. There were no bodies, no battles, no signs of a struggle, just the word Croatoan, that's Croatoan, Croatoan, carved into a post. And CRO was also carved into a tree, and that's it. That was all that was left. So let's go ahead and talk theories, and some of them are actually kind of historically relevant and plausible, but others not so much. But they all show just how obsessed we as humans have been with this mystery for the last 400 years. All right, theory number one is called the integration theory, and it's the most widely accepted. It's that the colonists peacefully joined with the nearby Croatoan tribe. Today, they're known as the Lumbee tribe. Now, there are oral traditions and even some early European records that do support this theory, and it makes sense. They were hungry, they needed friends or allies, and the word Croatoan had to have been a clue, not necessarily a warning. But these theories keep getting weirder, and we're going to look at that now. Where we have theory number two, we have Spanish sabotage. Now, I mentioned earlier that they were going through a war, and some historians think that Spain may have wiped out the colony. After all, if you're at a war with someone, you're not going to necessarily be best friends with them. The Spanish spies knew about the Roanoke colony and had already attacked the French colonies in Florida. But this is a really big but. There is zero physical evidence of violence at the site. That's why this one, it doesn't fit all the way. So if they did end up fighting them, they had to clean it up pretty good. Now, theory number three, one of my personal favorites. It's a big one, so buckle up. Some conspiracy theorists believe that the Roanoke colonies were actually abducted by aliens. And why was, because they vanished without a trace. There are no graves, no wreckage, no bones, no blood, nothing. To them, this just screams extraterrestrial, because who else could be that clean? Not humans. Of course, now, there's no real evidence of this being real, but when history grows quiet, the sci-fi world often fills that void. Another fun little sci-fi theory happens to be theory number four, with time travel or interdimensional rifts. Now, this one really reads like a Netflix pitch. It's the theory that suggests that Roanoke was built on some kind of thin spot between worlds and is a place where the veil between dimensions was weak. The colonists didn't just disappear. They slipped through time or into another realm entirely. Okay, it's way out there, I get it. But some people point to the Native American legends about spiritual doorways and the strange carvings that were left behind. Lastly, another really good one, theory number 5, is that it simply was a government cover-up. Because, of course, what else could it be? Some theorists think that the colony was just part of a failed experiment, and it might be related to secret mapping missions, early biological testing, or covert alliances. And when it failed, England simply buried the truth. Again, this one lacks a lot of proof, but it's fueled by the same distrust in the government that we see in other conspiracy theories like JFK or chemtrails. All right, I get it. Let's get down to what we think really happened to this lost colony. And, I really have to go with the fact that I think that maybe assimilation is the best, but they could have just died. Maybe they walked away from their failing dream, or maybe it's just not time for the truth to come out yet, and no one's gonna know. Roanoke is definitely one of American history's greatest mysteries. Not just because the people vanished, but because the mystery survived. It's shifted, it's molded, it's become something entirely new for every generation. Sometimes not knowing is the scariest part of all, though. Alrighty, guys, thanks for listening to Unwritten Histories, where the past isn't dead, it's just unsolved. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to leave us a review where you get your podcasts. It helps other curious minds also find the show. Share this episode with your favorite nerd, conspiracy theorist, or that one friend who always is down for a good mystery. And if there's a strange story, an unsolved event, or a forgotten chapter of the U.S. history that you want us to dig into, hit us up. We're always looking for our next rabbit hole. History isn't just dates and documents, it's questions, secrets, and stories that people have tried to bury. So until next time, keep asking questions, stay curious, and don't believe everything you're told.